All right. So yes, we can all see why we're here. Some people are here to gain useful knowledge. Definitely that's important because knowledge is power. Some people are here to change career, just like I did when I changed my career from a menial job to software testing. That's important as well. It's good, yes, to gain knowledge, yes. To improve software testing. So when you're improving software testing, are you saying as a person to improve your skills or to improve the whole software testing world as a whole, which is quite large? So that's a good one. I've got knowledge 2, knowledge 3, knowledge 4. Good, interested in software testing. More answers coming in? Anybody with more answers? I could see knowledge, which is quite important. That's what we're all here. We're all here for knowledge. That's the best thing we all want to do. To learn more, And it's quite important because the more we learn, the more we go higher in our skills, the more we understand our main purpose in life, better income. That is 100% correct. Because this is one of the best paying jobs in IT, to be honest. Although it's a starting level, but at the same time, yes, you get good money from it. To get a new leverage in software testing, quite important as well. I've got 14 people that have signed up to this. Please use the link, sign up and tell us your main reason for joining this training today, because that will buttress upon why we're here. And at the same time, it will give us a sense of achievement at the end of the day. Because if we don't have a sense of achievement of why we're here, it's going to be very hard for us to meet your expectation, even in the main course. Because this is just a free session for about a few hours, where we will have to understand that the main course is a 6 weeks program, 2 weeks of intensive theory and 4 weeks of hands-on practicals. So we all need to understand why we're here today. And this is one of the first reasons for us to know why we're joining this program, why we want to learn software testing, why we want to change our career in software testing. Yes, testing is all about what testing is all about, which is quite important. You will still have an understanding today to know what testing is all about. We need to know that, yes, software testing will definitely give us a better income anywhere in the world. We can be in Nigeria and be working for a company in America. We can be in Manchester or Hampstead and be working for a company in Sweden or in United Arab Emirates. You can even be in United Arab Emirates and be working for a company anywhere in part of the world, Canada, name it. China, Kuwait, anywhere in the world. Software testing is the same everywhere. It's not like medical field or it's not like engineering field that you have to do the certifications wherever you cross the world to be able to practice. You can practice software testing anywhere in the world. And this is one of the best careers so far. That doesn't require much certifications. That doesn't require much problems to get into it. It only requires your knowledge and your expertise. And if you can understand it from the onset, it's going to be most important and very important for us to be able to gain our purpose. All right. Thanks for those that participated. I think we've gotten about 50% of the people of the class today. So it's good to have everyone here. My name is Olumuyiwa Abiala. I'll be your host today, and I'll be the one taking you through the program or through the training, the free demo session. I will just introduce myself briefly. I've been a software tester for going to 10 years now. And yes, I started just like all of you here. I joined the free session, progressed my career. Free session, did the actual intensive training for 3 months. And within the 3 months, I got a role. And from there, it's been working from various organizations. I've worked with HSBC, I've worked with Lloyds, I've worked with the Ministry of Defense here in the UK, Ministry of Justice, the Met Police, just to mention a few. I've worked with Ericsson in Sweden, right from my living room here in the UK. I've worked with various organizations, even in Dubai, I've worked with a company there, Denmark. So yes, you can work with any organization. And I've worked with Wema Bank in Nigeria, right from here in the UK. So what are we saying? I'm saying software testing is a role that you can work with anyone, anywhere, anytime, any day. Be it Monday to Friday you want to work, be it Monday to Saturday, it's all onto you. So what's the agenda for today? And before I continue, please let's do a quick housekeeping. Please, let's put ourselves all on mute. If we have questions, let's drop it in the chat box. We've got someone that would attend to your questions. And at the same time, if we feel there's something important that you need to talk, or you want to stop me within the class, please just let me finish buttressing on the point before you stop me. And if possible, you can write down your questions, because I might answer your questions even before the end of the class. We'll be talking about the training proper, what and how to carry out progression, what are the job opportunities out there as a software tester, and at the same time, why should you take this course if you want to? There's no fees on it. No one is forcing everybody here. After that, we'll understand what the learning outcome is, which at the end of the course, most of you have said it all. We want to understand the various test processes, understand what continuous quality improvement means, apply various behavioral models, techniques from requirements, know the difference between what an error is, what is a defect, and what is a failure, understand the ability to use various software testing tools, ability to combine various test methodologies on a task, have a good sound knowledge of what software testing is, know how to use various techniques, understands everyone's roles, how you can communicate with them, be it your project manager, your business analyst, or your test manager, or even your third party, your customers, know how to communicate with them, know their responsibilities, and understand the margin lines. You will also learn the ability to analyze various requirements given in your acceptance criteria. And all these things are things we'll talk about in depth at the actual training. Understand the importance of keywords, like how you can use the words as a tester, how you can analyze, differentiate, select, structure, focus, name it. All these words are words that can be used while you're a software tester. And if you don't apply the right word at the right time, they will know that you are not actually a software tester. You just have the know-how, or you just have the basic knowledge. But there's difference between having a basic knowledge and knowing how to use the words and applying it at the right time. And that is why we're here, to give you a precursor, to give you a tip of the iceberg of what software testing is actually all about. So once again, thank you guys for coming in. And the topic today, which you can see on the slides, we'll talk about the introduction, take you through the importance of testing in software development lifecycle. What is software testing lifecycle itself? We'll tell you about some few hints of test planning, the type of testing, differentiate between verification and validation, what is quality assurance, and what is quality control. How do you do your bug reporting? What actually is even bug reporting? What do we mean by that? So all these are just the basis of software testing. But there's more to software testing, and there's 100% more to it. But we're just giving you some part of it so that when you feel this part, if you feel interested to continue, then yes, we'll talk about that. So let's get straight into it today. Software testing is a process that is used to identify the correctness. Please mark those words: the correctness, the completeness, and the quality of developed computer software. And that is what's called software testing. So if we're talking about the correctness, the completeness, and also the quality of a developed application, how correct is the application? How complete is this application for your purpose? And at the same time, do you think it's meet the quality that's meant to give out to the customers or to the end user? If yes, it is doing all this, then you can know the application is fit for purpose. And when I ask people on the road, the people that come into the class and say, okay, what do you understand by software testing? They'll say, oh, it's bug reporting. Oh, it's finding faults. It doesn't just end there. There's a lot that encompasses to software testing. And another definition here says it's a process of executing a program, be it an application, under positive and negative conditions, either by manual or by automated means. So basically what you're doing is you're checking the application to see that, yes, when I enter my password or my email into the password and email text field, it accepts it. All these things are done by testers. Or when I put a combination of my password on my phone, it actually accepts it as I want it to do. And it does that. Or when I grab my phone and I'm dialing a number, and the number is giving me the actual output, you're inputting 1, 2, 3, and it's giving you the output as expected. Is it working? Yes, it is. So all these specifications are 100% checked before the applications are built. All those functionalities are 100% checked before the application has been pushed out to me and you to use. The performance level of the application, how many milliseconds will it take for it to load? How many milliseconds will it take for an application to meet its expected output? All these are what software testers do. And at the same time, you need to understand that an application built has its own structure that it goes through. Any structure an application is going through, there's always what we call the software development life cycle. And now, why do we test? Or why software testing? Why do we think software testing is what we want to do? How important is software testing to the organization, to an application, even to me and you as a person? Do we think it's important? Of course, yes, it's important. Software testing is important as it may cause mission failure. If you understand what mission failure is, it can cause it. You can imagine a new airplane is being built and they've not done any test on it. They've not tried it to see if it can fly as expected. They've not tried it to see if it can take 200 passengers. Or they've not even tested to see that, yes, the tire and the applications is all integrated properly to the dock where the pilot will be sitting. And they just called 10 of us and say, oh, guys, yes, we just built this application. We just built this airplane. We built the application that we use to control the plane, but unfortunately, we've not tested it. But can you guys just jump on the airplane and let's just give it a try? I'm 100% sure none of us will do that. Why? Because it's not yet tested. But if we even do that, what can happen? Lives can be lost. All the millions that is put into the project will just go down the drain. And at the same time, it will bring about reputational damage, either to the organization or even to the person itself. I remember the one time Microsoft were trying to launch an application, a live on stage, and everything just crashed. Would we say they didn't do a proper test on the application? Yes, they did. But at the same time, we need to know that an application is never and impossible for it to be 100% defect-free. Every effective software testing delivers quality. And that's the word, and that's why you're here. You're here to deliver quality to the application. You're here to deliver quality to the project you're involved in. And at the same time, you need to understand the expectation of your users and their needs. If you're a software tester and you're not meeting your customers' need and your customers' expectation, there's no how they'll get your application or they'll buy it. There's 100% no how. You can't buy a phone today and say, okay, I just bought this new phone, they just launched it. I'm expecting that the camera is so super spec. I'm expecting that when I fold is a folding one, fold the ones that fold. When I fold it, it should fold and nothing should happen to it. And you bought it and it's not doing all those things you're expecting it to do. How would you feel? Would you trust the organization? No. Would you want to go back and buy that product again? Definitely not. A good example is the BlackBerry. If we all have the generation of where the BB pin and all that, where you can share your pin with people and that you guys can use it to chat before WhatsApp came out. But then they believe they're at the top of their game. There's some fundamental things that they should have done. Improve their requirements to know that, oh, new things are coming out. Let's meet the customer's expectation. At that time, the customer's expectation was to be able to chat without even using your credit or your time or anything on your application on your phone. But it came to a stage where people no longer even had intention of, I don't even need to share my PIN with someone else. Just giving them my number alone, I'll be able to chat with them. And that was why WhatsApp could push them out of the market. And this is the same thing that happened in software testing. If you don't do a quality check every time to understand your customers' needs, to understand what their expectations are, to be able to meet their expectation, it's going to be 100% hard for you to improve their expectation or even to meet that demand. Because you're meeting a demand as a software tester to your customers and even to the owner of the product. And that is why we need to know who are the people that should test. Who is responsible for this? Is it me? Is it you? Who? Everyone. That's my best call. Everyone is responsible for quality check. Even when you're building your own house or you're buying a house, you go do a quality check. Not because you don't trust the people there. It's only because you need to see it as you want it to be. You need it to meet your expectation. You need it to meet your demand, and you need it to be fit for purpose for what you just want to use it for. And that is why, yes, developers who develop every project needs to understand the system. When they understand the system, they'll test it gently. When you have someone building your house for you, they start from a level of where they understood it to when it's just completed. But at the same time, they won't go in and be opening the door and be closing it and banging it and opening it. No, they won't do that. The first try, lock and open, they see it's working, they're done with it. They don't do rigorous tests. But you as the owner of the house, you can go and open it and lift the door and close it and open it again and open it wide and do anything with it. That is what you are doing. That is what I'll be doing. When an application is built, I want to see everywhere possible that there might be faults on it. I want to see everywhere possible that someone might have done something wrong. I want to see everywhere possible that there's a defect in this building. And that's why when you're building a house and they come and inspect it, you see they put a big cross and like, this side is not good, you need to rebuild it again. Or even the people that come and inspect your new houses, they'll tell you, oh, you need to do some new adjustment in these places. They found a defect there. And that defect is what can cause harm to the property, what can cause harm to the application. And as long as they've seen it, they push it back to the developer to fix it. And what does the developer do? It fixes it and it tells you to come back and come and have a look at it. And when you come and say, yeah, oh yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's all right. Perfect. This is how I want it. Then that's when you can continue working. And that's when you can continue. And at the same time, developers are driven by deadlines. If you have a deadline of a project to be achieved within 2 months or 3 months or 6 years or 10 years, that timeline, they want to work with it. Why? Because they don't want to come back to it. They just want to do it and get moving. And these are developers. But when it comes to me and you that want to be a tester, what must we understand? What are the things that we must do? We must learn about the application, about the system, about the project. Understand the in and the out. Understand how important it is to the end user. Understand how important it is to the owner of the application, to the owner of the project. And try to understand what will be able to break this application, what will be able to make this project not fulfilled. What are the things that we can stop not to affect the application? And at the same time, we must put it at the back of our mind that all what we're doing must be driven by quality. If there's not quality enough, it won't meet the customer's requirements. It won't meet the end user's expectation. It's not going to be fit for purpose. Customers will not buy it from you. Customers will not use your application. End users, they will downgrade it. And that happens a lot. Some applications or some mobile phones outside, even some applications that are developed, when you install it, within you just going through the user interface, you just uninstall it immediately. Why? Because it's not meeting your expectation. It has happened to a million people around the world. And this is what we need to understand, that yes, an application must be fit for purpose, must meet the customer's requirements, and at the same time, it must meet their needs. And finally, who should test? And just like I said, myself and yourself. If you have a new house, or if you have an application, or you go and buy something, even you going on your normal driving around and you see a billboard with posters on it, and you could spot people's spelling errors, or you could even spot the image, it's not aligning properly. There's a design image there. All these things is testing you're doing. You've seen the application, or you've seen the project that was delivered to customers. You could see the mistake on it. You have the eye of it. You have an attention to details. And that is basically what the software testers do. They have good attention to details. If they don't have attention to details, there's no how they'll succeed in the field of software testing. A good tester must have attention to details anywhere they go and anywhere they're employed. But before you have attention to details, what does it mean? To know the difference between what an error is, what a defect is, and at the same time, what is actually a failure within a project? What is an error within a project? What is a bug? What is a defect? I know the little children will say bugs are like the cockroaches, the butterflies, and all that fly. But what actually is a bug within a project, within a software testing world? What actually do we mean by an error? What actually is a fault? Why can we say this project is a failure or this application is a failure? All these words are big words that we need to understand the differences within a software testing world. And when we have a good knowledge of this within a software testing world, we can easily know when to use it and when not to use it. Because if we understand when to use those words properly, even when you are in an interview or you're presenting to people, or even on your daily life, you would know the right words to choose and the right words to use. Because actually, it goes a long way. It just goes more than what you think. And first of all, we say, it's a person that makes an error, and that error creates a fault in an application, and that fault results into the failure of the operation system or of the project entirely. So I repeat myself. A person make a mistake or an error, spelling error. Instead of him to write I, he wrote L. That's an error. And that error, when the developers are developing and they're writing their codes in their whatever programming language they're writing it might be when they're typing very fast. And instead of them to type P, they're going to put on O and all that. And at the end of the day, they pushed it into the environment that, yes, they finished their writing their jargon's language. And you as the tester, it's been pushed to you that, yes, we finished this thing, it's good to go. But then you saw that, wow, okay, this thing is not working as I want it to work. This application or this project is not working as the customer specified that they want it to work, the specifications that they've given it to me. Oh, it's meant to be 10 drop downs with text field for me to put some words in there. That text field should be 100% letters. And if we all understand this is something that happens to us on a daily basis. when we are registering an application, or we're even registering ourselves to an application, and they're telling you that the letters, the password characters should be alphanumeric, alphabets and numbers with different signs, but should be within 8 to 12 or 8 to 10 characters, maximum 8 to 12 characters. But unfortunately, the person that was typing that acceptance criteria, or that criteria, that's acceptable words that says 8 to 12 characters with also combinations, but instead of him writing 12, he wrote 11. And you could see there when you were carrying out the test on that particular field that, yes, unfortunately, I remembered at the meeting they said, oh, this was meant to be 12, but now he's telling me 11. It's as a tester, you easily walk up to the developer and tell him that, oh, sorry, I think you made a mistake here, or you made an error here. And that's where a human error comes in, because the person makes an error. But when it gets to your front and you're testing it as a tester, it's no longer an error. It has developed into a fault. You found a bug there. You found a defect because it had deviated from the requirements. It's no longer the 12 given to you that you have seen based on the requirement, but the developer has done a mistake, an human error, and developed an application which has resulted into a fault, into a defect, but based on a requirement, it's meant to be 12 digits, but he has put in 11 digits, and there the application will fail. It will become a failure, because you've seen that you can raise a defect against it, and you can let him understand that, no, this is not right, this is the right thing. And those are the steps to understand what a fault is, to understand what an error is, to understand what actually a defect is as well. These are part of the things that a software tester do. A tester has to understand all these different stages. Even as a quality assurance, even as a test analyst, you need to be able to differentiate them specifically so that other peoples can have an understanding of what it is. Are we together? I just need a yes.
Yes.
Okay, because it seems I'm just talking and talking and talking, and I've been talking for like 30 minutes now.
Yes, we are here. We are here.
Before I continue, does anybody have any question based on the first few lines or descriptions? Any questions?
No. Not yet.
All right, thank you. So let's continue. Let's understand who is a software tester. Who is actually a software tester based on what we've said? Based on all the explanations we've explained, error finding, requirement gathering, name it, why should we test, and all such. A software tester is someone who performs testing on an application. And basically what you're doing is you're finding people's mistakes. You're finding defects. You're raising bugs. If there exists within the application you're testing, if there exists within the program you're working under. And what are you trying to do when you're finding the bug? To be sure that it doesn't go past you. I tell people that I see myself as the last funnel of any project. If I don't approve that project, if I don't approve that application, I'm sorry, it might not pass my table. And that's what I tell people a lot. I see myself as the last funnel before an application can go out. Be it to the public, be it to the world, anywhere it's going to. That's what I see myself as. And that's the same eye I want you to see. That's the same hat you need to put on. That if I didn't say, yes, this is fit for purpose, if I didn't say, yes, this is good to go, then it shouldn't go anywhere. You should be the one to have the final say on the application, except otherwise on some conditions. And those conditions are part of the things that encompasses you as a tester, to understand where the application needs to lie, where it needs to work, how it needs to work. Is it working as expected? Is it meeting the customer's requirements? Is it fit for purpose for the customer to use at the end of the day when it's been pushed out? All these are things that we need to have a clear understanding on. We need to be able to know who and when it can be fit for a customer. And the question just came on, do you need to be a programmer to be a tester? No. But at the same time, if you're a programmer or if you're a developer, it gives you a better edge than other people. But you don't actually need to be a programmer. And just another answer to that. In my university, I didn't study anything science, neither in my secondary school. I was in proper art class, history, social studies. And even when I did my university, if I tell people why I studied in university, they'll say, oh, so how did you get into IT? I studied history and diplomatic studies. So that's something completely opposite of testing, completely opposite of IT. But yes, there's something I understand about we humans. We have the ability to learn new things. And we have the mind to grasp things if we put our focus on it. And that's why I always tell people, if I can do it, I don't see why any other person cannot do it. That's my bottom truth. If I can do it, I don't see why you, any other person cannot say, oh yes, I can get into it. So best, we need to understand that either I'm a bricklayer or I'm a bus driver. I have somebody that was a cleaner, and I mean a cleaner that goes around and mop and pick bins, that is a software tester today. And they are doing 100% good. When I say good, I mean good. Even me, myself, I used to like, sometimes I'll look at him and I'll say, wow, yeah, really it's testimony. So please don't undermine yourself. Don't think, oh, because I don't have a programming language, it might be a detriment. Never is never. It's something you can learn. I can write in Java now. I didn't do science. I never liked science. I disliked it. But when you get to a certain level in life, you will see that to learn things, if you put your mind into it, would never be hard, as long as your mind is on it. So please don't say that, oh, it's meant to be for those that did science, or it's meant to be for those that did computer science. I know people that did computer science that are not even into testing. And if you tell them to come and do it, they'll tell you it's too hard for them. And I've taught people that graduated as computer science in universities. So please don't put yourself down. And let's get back to it. A software tester is the person who performs testing. And what are you performing testing on? On an application. And why are you doing it on the application? You're doing it to be sure that that application is defect-free, has no bug, has no human errors, and is not going to result to a failure at the end of the day. That they'll say, oh, this application failed. Or, oh, this application is not fit for purpose. It's not meeting the customer's need. It's not meeting what I expect it to do. If you're expecting an application to be able to, as you log in, you sign in, there's no problem, and it's not meeting that, or you want to upload your picture on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Facebook, and you can't upload your pictures, would you use those applications again? No, you see that it's not fit for purpose. It's not meeting what you want it to do. They've said the application is meant for you to be able to upload pictures, like the pictures, add comments, delete comments, name all those criteria they've given you. But when you're doing it, you're saying that it's not even meeting it. You can't add comments. You can't delete comments. You can't edit your comments. All these things were things that was tested by me and you, or by testers. When you get into the field, if you're fortunate to work with those organizations, you will see that is how they tested them. They carry out the requirement gathering. Oh, our customers, they want to be able to add comment now. Well, our customers, they want to be able to like and unlike. Our customers, they want to be able to block this person and unblock that person. All those features are there. They were developed by developers and they were tested by me or by someone else who is a tester, or by even you. Fortunately, you might get into that world soon and you'll be able to use it. And you'll be able to test those applications to be say that, yes, it's working as the people have wanted it to work. And that is why you need to have a good understanding of what are the things that it needs to meet. If it doesn't meet it, would it be fit for purpose? And who are the people that are responsible for gathering all these informations? Who are the people that are responsible for making sure that all these things are working as I want them to work. We have the project team. We have the business analysts. We have the testers. And at the same time, we have me and you, the customers. So the project manager, they are here for planning, to execute, and at the same time, to understand the successful of a project, minimize the risk that is involved throughout the project lifecycle. If you're saying yes, oh, I've got 20 million naira, or 20 million pounds, or $20 million, or 20 US Canadian dollar, or US dollar, or whichever one. I want to have 3 million naira. I want to build a house. You get a developer or you get a project manager to say, okay, can you manage this project for me? What the project manager will be doing is get the resources that will work on the application. Make sure that, yes, your money is fit for purpose. Your money will be able to build the application that is required. And at the same time, it's going to write out all what you, the owner of the application, wants. I want to build a 7-story building. Each of the floors should be 3-bedroom flats. Name all the specifications. That is your requirement is gathering. And it's going to get people that will work on that requirement for you. Build it according to your specification. Be it the developers, the bricklayers, the engineering, name all those people involved in that team. That's what it's going to do. And at the end of the day, it's going to get somebody to come and look at it, to inspect it. They call it inspectors. But in the application world, it's called the testers. You come and test that application to be seen that, yes, it's meeting that requirement that you've asked it to do. And when it meets that requirement, it's fit for purpose. And yes, and at the same time, they'll make sure that the money you've required or you've dropped down to use, that they even finish it, they minimize it, they managed it properly. You've told them you want the house to be ready within 7 months. They've done it properly, fit to your purpose within 6 months. They manage the schedule for you, making sure that all critical decisions have been met. And that is why a project manager is always involved within an application or within a project itself. And we have this business analyst as well. These people are the ones that serve as a liaison officer, either between you, the project owner, the product owner, and we, the technical team. So they will be the ones to be communicating, responsible for accessing the process. Oh, okay, yes, stage 1 is complete. Stage 2, we're about to start it. They'll determine the requirements that is needed. Okay, we need so bricks, so tons of sand, so tons of water, name it. They'll be the one to be telling you what the requirements are. And they'll be making sure that they provide all those data for you. All those requirements will be given to you. Whatever tools you want to use, they'll be the one to analyze the tools and make sure that, yes, the project is progressing according to schedule. And at the end of the day, they'll draw a timeline to say, yes, you can meet your timeline as stated. So these are part of the people responsible for projecting. And it comes to the tester himself. What does the tester do? Who is a tester? We've said who a tester is. Responsible for planning, developing and executing your test plans or your manual test script, regression test planning, identifying the targeted test items to be evaluated by the test effort. All right. I want to see if we have a good tester in the house now. Can somebody tell me something that is wrong here on this page? A good tester in the house? We've said a tester can spot people's mistake.
It's a test analyst. There's no T in the analyst.
Oh, who just said that?
Amma.
Thanks, Amma. Now you have the eye for details, attention to details. That is what testers do. Every simple mistake of an human, if you can spot it out, you've got the attention to details. And this is basically put there so that we can see if we are ready to get into the world of testing, if we are ready to be what we say we want to do, to gain more knowledge, as some people said. You can't just come into testing to acquire money. You need to understand how it is. what are the things that need to be done? What are the things I need to learn so that I can be a good tester? Defining the appropriate test requirements and any associated test data, gathering and managing the test data, name them, evaluating the outcome of each test cycles, writing and executing test cases and reporting defects. How do you report it? Who do you report it to? What are the things that will be needed to report these things? Such tools, such informations are quite important when you're working as a tester. And even when you're working as a tester, where do you belong within the development of that application, within the development of that project itself? And there it comes to the importance of testing within a project, importance of testing within a software development lifecycle. Hi, Kate, you're raising your hand.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, I can hear you properly, but I'm managing.
Okay, what does SDLC mean? In bracket, I've seen it twice now.
All right. Like I said, you can write the questions now. I will still 100% talk about it. I just got into it now. So SDLC means software development life cycle. Software development life cycle. Is that clear? And we're going to talk more about software development life cycle. So don't worry. And here we are. When we say software development life cycle, when to start testing in the software development life cycle? When do you think it's best? To me, I think it's best to start from the requirement gathering. If you have a project, even a house, and you want to build a house, and you want to start gathering your requirements, you start gathering your requirements from looking for the land that you want to develop. And when you start looking for the land, what would you do? You do some inspection, you do some testing. Is this land, would it be able to build a 2-bedroom story? Is this in a foggy area, or is it in a swampy area? Is it in a rock area? You know, all those things that you would check. It's the same thing. You're doing a testing on the land. And even when it comes to your application, that you're raising an application, you want to build an application. When you're gathering the requirements that, okay, I want to develop a website that will be able to transfer money, a banking application. All right, what are the things that will be required for us to be able to transfer money? What are the first things we need to do? Do we need to first of all do the login page? Or do we need to first of all do the profile page? Or do we even need to first of all do the transaction page? And from there, you start analyzing those requirements. And when you analyze the requirements, you'll be able to know what are the first thing we need to design on. All right, how do we want the design to be? Should it be customized? Should it be the one that, yes, people can easily come in and do it based on how they want it to appear for themselves? And when you have a good vision of what your design is and you've structured it out, you've designed it, your design architects or whoever your UI, UX people are, they've given you the best design that you feel, oh, this design is super. That's what I want. This is how I want my website to be. This is how I want my application to look like. And there, then you get your developers. Your developers will develop, they'll program it according to your requirement, according to your design, according to what you've analyzed that program. Sorry, can we all put ourselves on mute, please? If you're not on mute, please put yourself on mute. Thank you. I'll put everybody on mute now. And if you now understand that the developers that have developed it to your specification, to what you've designed, you put it into implementation and you pass it to your testers. And that's when your tester will gather that requirement that you've gathered from the onset. They'll look through the design. Oh, this is how it's meant to look like in the front end side, in the front side. On the web page, this login page is meant to be on the right hand side, but when it's developed, it's on the left hand side. All these things, when they compare with the design, they compare with the requirement, they'll be able to tell you where the error is. They'll be able to tell you where the defect is, where the developers have made error before it went into a fault. And when they can see this defect, they'll be able to tell you to fix it. Oh, this is not meant to be here, it's meant to be on this side. And that is what it's called the fixing. They fix whatever defect they've seen. And from there, you now put it back into the developer, he fixes it, and you can now do another round of testing. And most things I tell people is, if you take your mobile phone to Apple, Samsung, roadside people to fix it for you, even if it's just the earpiece that's not working, that you can't, the speaker is not working. And when you fix it, when it says, oh, I fixed it back for you, I'm 100% sure all of us, after we've tested the speaker and we can speak and we can hear, we'll do another round of check on the phone. Oh, okay, it's fixed the speaker. Is it affecting the screen? Is it affecting the volume up, volume down? Is it affecting any other part of the applications? You are carrying out a test there to be sure that whatever the person, the developer has fixed, or whatever you call it, the roadside guy has fixed, it's not affecting any other part of your application. And this is basically what testers do as well. And from the project people will start maintaining the application after they pushed it out to the customers to be used. And that is why when you see now, most phones, if you see them now, they'll be telling you version upgrade, version upgrade, version upgrade. And when they're doing the version upgrade, if you read through what they've told you they've done, they'll say, one, they've added new features, two, bug fixes. And how did they know this application have bugs on them? If we remember, if you buy a new phone, they'll tell you, oh, would you like to send your data to Samsung for improvement? And you tick on yes. While you're using that application and it keeps shutting down or finding those things, those data are being sent to them. They'll see where errors, where their mistakes are, where people are saying that, oh, this thing is not fit for purpose, and people are not using it that much. They'll do some background checks, some background investigation to see how they can improve their application, to maintain it, to suit people's use, to meet people's expectation. And when they do this, they do a full rollout of new upgrade. And when they do the new rollout of new upgrade, you now have version 15.1.2.3, they put a version control on it, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to know where and when and how to maintain the application. Because that is a simple, a very quick understanding of a software development lifecycle. It's 100% more than that. During the training proper, we'll go into each of those stages: requirement, analysis, development, name it. We'll go into them one after the other, the people involved, how they do it, and all such informations will be passed across. And at the same time, we have what we call the software testing lifecycle, which is different entirely to the software development lifecycle. And this is where me and you is more or less involved mostly. Although, yes, we have a stage within the software development lifecycle, but we have a more role to play within the software testing lifecycle. Because from here, when the project is initiated, from the onset of the requirement gathering, we need to understand how the application will work. We have a picture of the application, or possibly you've worked in a banking environment before, and they want to develop a banking application. You'll be able to visualize it to know that, oh, okay, this is how we're going to start. This is what the next stage will be. Or you can take a replica of such application. We can see now most applications are looking similar to each other, either from the way they like, or the way they can add pictures, or the way you can add comments, or even the way you can uninstall and install them, or edit, or do anything within those applications. Even when you log onto your web pages now, you see most login or profile is on the top right. Why? Because they're mimicking each other for it to be user-friendly. And this is what you're doing. You system study. From there, you now create your test plan. Oh, how many people will work on this application? How many testers will be working? On so days, how many people will be involved? What are the things that we need to do? You design your test case. Let them understand how on each steps, each application, or each component will be tested. And from there, you execute it to see that, yes, is there any problem, any defects? You report it back to the developer. And if you guys remember that I said earlier, when you fix your phone, you check every other place to be sure that there's nothing, it has not affected, whatever the guy has fixed has not affected any other place within your phone or within your application. And that is what is called a regression test. You do that as well. From there, you give them, your project managers, the analysis, and you give them a quick summary of what you've done. Oh, on this day, 12 testers worked on 100 test cases. They executed them, 10 defects were found, 2 was to be tested, or 2 was fixed. We did a round of regression, and you give them the summary report, and that goes into the project level. And these are quite important because when it comes to the actual training, which will be 6 weeks intensive training, 2 weeks theory, and 4 weeks of hands-on practicals, we have our in-house tools that we use, and we have our project, a live project we work on. And these are very important because you can't go out with just a theory knowledge and you want to go into interview. You need to be able to tell them an experience of what you've done, because most interviews now will not be based on theory. Tell me how you've done this. Tell me what you did in this situation. And that is what they want. They want to see your experience. They want to see the knowledge you have in it. And they want to see that, yes, this person has actually done something about it. Otherwise, just tell them that, oh, I remember somebody was saying this based on theory. I'm sorry, you won't get the job. And that is why some trainings, it's just theory. But we're doing the practicals. You get the tools that most organizations use. And at the same time, we train you the theory aspect. All this, I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg. We're going to flesh them out one after the other. Like this now, like the software testing, we'll go through each of the stage, how to do it. We analyze it, we define it. And when it gets to the practicals, you will see them raw, live, what it is actually and what actually it all meant and how to handle them in such situations. What do we mean by test cases? It's a specific procedures of testing a particular requirement. So if a requirement is like the password text field that I was telling you guys, if a requirement is for that text field to be 10 to 12 characters with different combinations of numbers and alphabets and characters, either symbols, that test case for that, you need to be able to use that text, that 12 characters, different combinations, and it should accept it. And if you can get that test case written, then fine, that's passed. But if now you put 13 characters where they're telling you it should be 12 and is accepting it, then that's a defect, that's a fault there. That application is failed. So this is basically what me and you will be doing at the end of the day if you get into testing. And it goes far beyond that as well. We'll be able to include as well, identify how requirements have been tested, if a test case is successful, if it's a failure, specific tests to execute and what tests not to execute, the test data that will be required, and at the same time understand what are the various levels of testing. Because test case goes a long way, not just the writing, I'm pressing application, or I'm just looking at visualizing the application. It goes beyond that. There are various levels to it. And just like doctors still have various levels, from the GP or from the normal junior doctor to a surgeon to a bone specialist, they have levels. And so testing too has levels. Even an engineer too has levels. You see various engineering, there's architect, there's road construction, there's building constructions, name it. Every field has its own levels. And also testing too has its own levels of testing. So here we talk about few of them, unit testing. So here you can test each of those models individually. If you have a full unit or full application, which is a mobile phone, each of those things that comprise of the mobile phone, from the speaker, which is one unit, to the screen, to the keyboard, to the camera, those are what are called modules. And if you can test the camera on its own and it's working perfectly, you've tested a module. And that is done by the developers as well. Because you understanding how to test each of those modules, each of those components is quite important within the software testing world. But mostly these are done by developers because they're the one that developed it. So when they develop it, they'll check it. Oh, is it working as expected? Yes, if it is, good to go. That's a unit test. And when now you have the camera, the speaker, the screen, and you put them together, you integrate those three components. Will they work perfectly without any problem? That's what we call integration testing. And you integrate all those modules together. You test them that, yes, when I put on the camera on the screen, it's working perfectly. And when I try to zoom in, zoom out, which is the functionality of the volume up, volume down, does it zooms in, does it zooms out? That's integration testing you're doing. And you've done them perfectly as well. And now you want to test the application as a system. Now we've combined everything, all those models, the camera, the phone, the camera, the speakers, the screens, name it, you put them all together. Are they working as a full system? Are they meeting the expectation? And under system testing, we've got various things that we can also look under. And see, testing has a lot of words that we can always define within testing, a lot of words. You hear so testing, you hear black box testing, monkey testing, glass testing, name it, functional, non-functional, performance, smoke, beta, alpha testing, a lot of it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, a lot of it. But all you just need is the knowledge. Because when they're telling you, oh, this is what alpha testing means, you say, oh, I know that. Is it not when you do this? And that is it. You don't need to know the meaning of the words or be cramming the words one after the other. No. If you have the knowledge, the exposure of software testing as a whole, it encompasses of everything. I can wake up tomorrow now as a genius and just put a word out for software testing and I push it to the public. Everybody will accept it. It's just for you to go through some panels of accreditation within the software testing world. And when it goes, it's right in the world, in the public to be using the word. And that is how software testing is. There's what we call usability testing, functional testing, performance testing, security testing, and a lot more. A lot and a lot more. So what is usability? User interface test. The look and feel of the application, attractivities. You see some of us, we go on some website and we'll look like, wow, this application is not built right. This website is not looking good. Those are what we call usability testing. How speedy is the application? All these things are quite important. Functional testing, the process of checking that the application is working as it's meant to work. If I have an application and I'm dialing out a number, instead of it to be dialing out, the function of dial is not working. I'm pressing dial and it's sending message. That is completely wrong. I'm clicking on volume low, volume high, or even on your banking application, you're entering numbers of someone's account details. And instead of it to be displaying numbers, it's displaying alphabets. That function is not working as it's meant to work. All this functionality tests is what testers do. And at the same time, they're validating the integration of the application to see that, yes, what you're imputing into the application is actually the output that it is giving back to you. Because if not giving you back that output, mate, that application is not fit for purpose. 100% not fit for purpose. We're talking about performance testing, load testing, stress testing. You see sometimes when some period of times when you're trying to call and you can see the application, the dial tone is just giving you, it's not connecting. At that time, the application, the performance is either low because those that they've built the application, they don't build it for people to be 1 million people at the same time to be dialing at that same number. Or you go on a website and all of a sudden you're browsing and the website just crashes. They tell you that, oh, it can't handle the stress of people that is on that website at the same time. All these things are what testers perform when an application is being built. Because you'll be able to know that these are part of the requirements that, oh, when 1 million people log into the application at the same time, it should hold, the application should not break, it should work as expected, it should not even have any glitch. So definitely this is what is called testing. You're testing a lot of things, not just you catching defects. No, it's gone beyond defects alone now. And that is why testing is a very interesting career. And there's also security testing. You're testing how well the application is protected against unauthorized internal or external users. If you have an application now, why do you think most people put password on their phones? Because they don't want any other people to use it. We've created a performance of security on that so that when other people take it, they can't guess your secured password or even thumb password now. You see people do eye password. You can use your eyes, your laces, your thumb, name it. All these things are part of security testing that we do. They get you different specs of eyes to use to create the application, get different thumbs to see that when you test this thumb and test that thumb, it's still not gonna open the application. All these things are what testers do. And when we say smoke testing, what does it mean? We're not talking about the smoke, the cigarette or anything. but this is more or less checking that, yes, this application immediately developer builds it. It works for what it's to work for. It is meeting the requirement that it's meant to meet. And you're not going into far details about whether all these things or all other things are working. There's also alpha testing, that the application is tested by users who doesn't know about the application. So there's a lot of testing models, a lot of words that we can test. Acceptance testing is another one. You want to check and conduct that, yes, this application is actually determining whether or not a system satisfies an acceptance criteria that's been set up from the onset. If the requirement is for this application to be able to transfer money, you can receive money, you can enter people's information, can you actually do all this on the application? And from there, the users can accept it that, yes, it's meeting the purpose that it's created for. And at the same time, yes, it's functioning as expected. And there's a lot. Beta testing is another one. You have a quick check to be sure that, yes, the final release of the software is good for the end users. And at the same time, it's mostly done by end users. You see some software that will call, before the application has been launched out to customers, they might just call a particular 10 or 15 or 20 people to come and test the application, to come and use it, to come and feel it, to say, okay, yes, when you're using this application, what are your observations? What do you think we need to do about this? Do you think we need to add something here? Do you think we need to take out some things from this application? Do you think we need to add this kind of features? All these things are, why are they doing this? They're doing it first to see what the customers will think about the application, and at the same time to improve the application. And these are part of testing as well that is done generally within the software world. There's quite a lot of them, a lot and a lot and a lot. And I spoke about regression tests earlier, when a bug is being fixed, a defect is being fixed, or something is being fixed on an application. You take your phone or your laptops or your TV, name it, anything, or even within a project, your system as a whole, the application, the system you use, or even when you're in the bank, you're using a banking application and you see that your banking application is not working. Sometimes they can ask you to go to the customer's desk or to the help desk, that the help desk will help you fix it. And when you get there, the help desk will just ask you 1 or 2, 3 questions and they'll give it to you back. And what would you do? You would check it to be sure that, yes, it's working. You can do your transfer, you can get your money, you can see people's information, all the details you've saved there are still there. These are what we call regression tests. You're ensuring that no degradation of baseline or any functionality has occurred. To be sure that, yes, what they fixed is not affecting any other part of the application. And this is another one, exploratory testing. Wow, a lot of us do this without knowing. A lot of us. I would say over everybody in this world does exploratory testing, but you don't know you're doing testing. What do I mean here? You buy a new TV, or you buy a new application, or you download a new application. I can guarantee that all of us don't go to the users menu. We don't go to the users menu. All we just do, yes, yes, agree, 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 and we start exploring it. Start going to the application. Start going to the application to understand how to use it. And that's what you're doing. You're exploring it without having a pre-knowledge of what the application does. And when it comes to the testing world, you do that as well. And why are you doing that in the testing world? You don't want to understand the application. You just want to break it. Just want to see where the functionality is not functioning as expected. You want to see where you can kill the application without a prior knowledge of what the application does. And all these are quite important within testing as a whole, because with this, you can go far in the testing world. And quickly, let's jump to what we call verification and validation. And before I go, is there any questions, please? Any questions from anybody? Quick
just a quick one.
Yes.
I know someone initially asked about maybe these comprises of coding or Does it really comprise of coding and some other stuff?
All right. So I'll get there towards the end of the class. I'll talk about it.
Okay.
There's still a slide for that. Yep. Any other questions, please? All right, somebody has, okay, thanks, none here. All right, so let's quick continue because we've got about another 30 minutes before the end of the class for the day. Just a few more slides to go. So what do we mean by verification? What do we mean by validation? Do we need to verify things? Do we need to validate that, yes, this thing is developed as it's meant to develop? So verification is the process of confirming that software meets its specification done through inspection and walkthrough, used to identify defects in the product early in the life cycle. So you're verifying that, yes, this thing is working as expected. It's been developed as it's meant to be developed. It's fit for purpose and is meeting my requirement. If I want to buy an application now, you know what you want to buy. You want to go to the market to buy a TV. Although, yes, you can get to the market and they'll persuade you to buy a 75-inch. But right from home, you know that, oh, I want to go into the market and get a 65-inch TV. That's your requirement. That's your specification. That's what you want. Oh, touchscreen laptop, 24-inch screen, light on the keyboard, name all those specifications. And you got to the market, you need to verify that, yes, this is what I want. And when you're verifying that, you're not just checking the specifications on your head. They can come in, the product owner can come in and give you new specifications. Oh, I've got this one that you can even use the keyboard on the screen, a screen touch is you can divide the screens into two and have like two different screens. You know, they'll give you all the various specifications. Now it's left to you to verify that, yes, you want it or not. So then you can identify various issues within those applications. You can identify, okay, what does the actual specifications on my head or the requirement that the person that wants to develop the application have asked me to do? What does it mean? Am I meeting the requirement that's been set out that I've had in my mind? And now you now have to validate it that, yes, okay, it's confirming to what I want. The customers have asked us to build an application that is so specification. And the developers have developed it. Now you need to be sure that as a tester, you're verifying that, is it the right product that I want? And now the developers will tell you, oh, is it the right product that we've developed? As a tester, you verify, is the product right for me to use? You might say, yes, I need a 14-inch or 24-inch. But when you get into your testing world and the 24-inch, the money is too much for you, you go for other specifications and you now say, okay, is this product right for me? Can it still meet my specification? But a developer will develop it based on it is the right product. It is what I've been asked to develop. And yes, I've developed it. But you, the tester, you will now test it that, yes, is it the right product for our customers to use? Will it fit their requirements? Will it meet their purpose of use? And that is the two difference between verification and validation. You need to verify as a tester. And most developers, what they do is they validate their codes that, yes, they are developing the right product. And these explanations, when we get into the trainings, there's quite a lot of things that you need to talk about within these explanations. And now quickly we jump into what is a quality assurance, or who is a quality assurance? What does it mean? What is quality? What is a quality control? Because all these things, we need to understand them. The quality is defined as meeting the customer's requirements. If you guys see, I'm using some keywords right from the onset within the training. Requirements, specifications, development, testers, and all such. And without that, there's no how that will be able to meet the requirements. There's no how customers will be able to know that, yes, you're meeting what they wanted to do. So the best measure of quality is given the word for. So the functionality is functioning as expected. User can use it without any problem. It's reliable. It's performing. The performance is superb and it's stable. It's scalability. It's scalable. Because without all this, there's no how customers will be able to say, yes, this product is quality enough for me to buy or for me to use? And even any application, sometimes as a user, before you install an application, you go through the reviews. When you read through the reviews, you want to know that yes, this application is functioning, because some people would have made a review on them. And all those reviews help. Even when you want to buy a product on its own, you go through reviews sometimes. And that is what is called. You're checking the quality of the application. And why quality? Because it's the important factor affecting an organization's long-term performance. Because if your product is not quality enough, customers won't come back to you. Users will not download the application. We can see if you go and check Facebook when it started years ago, it's 100% different to when it is now, to how it is now. When it started years ago, you can like, you can unlike, you can add comments, you can do all that. It was just meant for connecting. Yeah, I know I can connect to this person, I can see his pictures. But as time goes on, you could see new features were added to it. They were maintaining the application. They were improving their product and to be able to be competitive with other organizations. And from there, they were saying that, oh, Instagram came out and they're like, man, we don't want competition. They bought Instagram away. And all these things keep developing. Snapchat is out now. Very soon you see another big organization is going to buy them. And these are the things that are improving their quality to be sure that they are meeting the competitive level of the customers and the demand of the end user. And when you're doing this, you're adding quality to your product. And now we say quality assurance is a planned and systematic set of activities to meet your customers' confidence that the product that you're giving them is actually working as expected. It's conforming to the specification required, and it meets your user's need. Because if you don't meet your user's needs, there's no how your user will come and use the application. And that's why you see some people with the Google Analytics to be sure that, okay, how many users are using our application? How can we improve our services? How can we improve our features to meet customers' needs? And all these things throughout the life cycle, they need to keep improving their applications, improving the features, the products to work as expected. And if this is not done, there's no how customers will be happy with your applications. And there they also have a quality control. Because if a product doesn't have a quality control, if it's not product oriented, if the defects are not detected based on the requirement, then there's no how the application will conform to what it's meant to do. There's no how the application will perform. It's not going to be scalable. The performance is not going to be superb. And customers will not use the application. The standard as well, because all these are things that testers go through. They try to understand what and where to use an application, how to use it, using it as if they're the end user, and at the same time making sure that the customers don't do, or the end users make sure that the application is fit for their purpose. And now we talk about a bug, defect. What is a defect lifecycle? How do defects go through? We've spoken about development lifecycle, testing lifecycle, and we're going to talk quickly about a defect lifecycle. If we understand those 3 stages within a testing world, I would say we are halfway through to be a tester. But even within those 3 life cycles that I've explained, we've not given everything out. There's more that encompasses into that. There's a lot of things we need to talk about there. And when we talk about all these things, that's when you now have a 50% knowledge of what a tester is and who to be a tester and how to be a tester. Then you can now put that into practicality, how to do them, when to do them, when not to do them, when to apply them, when not to apply them, and the actual words and communication skills that is required as a tester. And we say, what is a defect lifecycle? So a defect, I said something earlier when I was using the mobile phone as an example, and which is quite a good example to use. So now your phone got spoiled, either the speaker is faulty, which is a bug. As a tester, you erase that. Is it actually a defect? Is actually my speaker not working? If it is yes, it's working, you assign it to whoever, you take it to the repairer. But after some few minutes, and you see that, oh, it's working now, it's perfect, it's okay, nothing is wrong with it. Sorry, excuse me, please. All right, apologies. So as I was saying, is it actually working? And you could see that, yes, the mobile phone is working or the speaker is working perfectly. You don't need to take it to a developer or to a fixer anymore. But when you see that, yes, it's actually a problem, you take it to who's going to fix it, and the person fixes it for you. After he or she fixes it, you need to check it that, yes, it's working. And if you see that, yes, it's been resolved, what do? You close it, you take it away, and that's done. But if you see that, yeah, the speaker, the person just fixed it properly, you're still hearing some background noise or some car sound or some humming at the, you tell him, oh, mate, this thing you fixed is not fixed properly. You reopen it and you give it back to him to fix, and he fixes, and you do another round of check and another round of check and another round of check. And after that is being done, you close it. And you can see that, yes, you're happy, he's happy, everybody's happy. You close the application or you close the defect. And that is more or less a bug lifecycle in a nutshell. And at the same time, without us knowing all this, why do we perform software tests on a product? We said earlier it's important because, yes, we need to catch defects, but it's not just catching defects. Is the product good? It's essential that we need to know that every customer relies on the product's name. Now we hear people say the only two mobile application people use is either you're using an Android or an iOS. And why? It's because they're reliable. It's hard before you hear people using Nokia anymore. It's not as if Nokia is not good, but they're not meeting customers' need anymore. It's hard for them to meet customers' needs. They're not working to the generation that we are now. And that is why when you are a software tester, you need to renovate yourself and reinvent yourself every time so that the product will be fit for purpose. It's going to be good and people will trust your product. And if people don't trust your product, there's no how they're going to use it. And as we said, we're here to empower students to realize how important their roles are. And like I said earlier, I class myself as the final funnel before any product has been given out to the public to use. Anywhere I work, I always let them know that I'm quite important. 100% important for the project's success. Because if anything goes wrong on that product, when it's been launched, when people are using it, and they see a major defect, they won't go back to anybody. They'll come back to you that tested that application, you that tested that product, and say, mate, how come we're saying this? And you said you tested it and you checked it and you said, yes, it's okay. There's no problem, no more errors, no more failure. But we can see failure here. We can see errors here. We can see defects here. So how come did this pass through your table and you didn't see it? So that is why we're here to perform software testing on a product. And before we can say, yes, it's good for us, everyone to say, yes, oh, yes, good thing to do, I want to be a tester. Do you really think software testing is for you? Is software testing a good career option? Do software testers get good salary? Someone said earlier, to leverage, to make good money, to make good income. Is there a career progression in software testing? Is it different from development? Or shall I go into programming skills, just like someone was asking earlier? Or shall I just be doing testing just on its own? So one thing I tell people, and I'll always tell people, and I'll continue to tell people, to get into IT, one of the easiest way to get into IT today is testing. to be a software tester is the easiest route into IT. I don't know about any other route, but this route I know, and I can hit my chest and tell 1,000,001 people today, software testing is the easiest way to get into IT. Why? Because it's very flexible. It's a very, very, very flexible career path. You meet and you communicate with different individuals, from product managers to the project manager, to the developer, to the architect, to the security specialist, to the cybersecurity model design, name them. You meet people, you communicate with people, and you even meet the customers themselves and the owner of the actual project. If you continue in testing, there's no how that you cannot progress into the various roles. I've known people who have moved from testing into cybersecurity. I've known people who have moved from testing into cloud automation, Azure DevOps, name it. I've known people who have moved from testing into developer proper, front-end developer, back-end developers. I've known people who have moved from testing into project management, business analyst, name it, architect design, not the architect of building a house, but project architect design, name it, data analyst. All these people moved from software testing. And when you sit with them in a meeting, there's no how you won't understand what they're doing. And within a matter of time, when roles are available within your organization, you can easily jump on it and move. And this is where someone was asking, do you have to be a programmer? If you want to, I would say yes. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But there's always an advantage to everything, and there's always a disadvantage to everything. If you start as a software tester today, you're starting just as a manual tester because you don't understand programming languages, be it Java, Python, C#, JavaScript, name all those programming languages. If you don't have a knowledge of that, it doesn't stop you from being a tester. I never had the knowledge. I still don't have the full knowledge, but that doesn't stop me. I've been in software testing for years now, and I keep progressing. I've sat with people that have the very background knowledge and skill. When I say skills, I mean skills. They can code, even if you stand, they'll code you out. They'll code you out onto a web page straight away. But these are people that have the background knowledge of programming language. But I wouldn't say yes and I wouldn't say no. But it is an added advantage. So if you start as a manual tester today, within a short period of time, if you want to learn programming language, you can learn it. And that will move you into an automation tester. But if you don't want to learn it, it's not a fuse. Nobody's going to force you to it. And you can, from a manual tester, move into a test analyst or a test lead. And from a test lead, you can digress. If you want to continue as a tester, that's the route, to a test manager, to a director of the unit or the department. But at the same time, if you want to go another way around, which is through this path, you can come from a software tester. You can go into the project management team. You can go into the project management team. Development team, you can move. Cybersecurity. Project management team does entails either you want to be a BA, a product manager, architecture, product design, name it, UI, UX, name it, defect manager, anything you want to move into, it's easy from a software testing perspective. And at the same time, when we now say what are the job opportunities out there for a tester, I just quickly put a graph there for us to have an understanding of how many roles are out there as a tester. This is just a snapshot of within the UK for the last 6 months. So contract roles and permanent roles within the UK since the 6 months till the 1st of June is about 12,000 roles. And at that same period, 2021 was about 9,000, 10,000 roles as well. But look at the difference between 2020 to 2022, the demand, the requirements of software testers. Why? Because of the pandemic, most people are working from home now. And everybody required the application to be fit for purpose. And look at the pay, the rate. I just gave a snapshot of UK. The rates now, look at it. When we say inside and outside, there's quite a lot of difference. You can earn as much as 4,000 grand a day. And at the same time, you can earn as low as £300 a day. And you can earn outside or inside, that's meant to be 750, not 4,750. Apologies for that. You can earn as high as 750 outside IR35. But inside, why? Because of the government rules, they have a cap to it. And outside London itself, you can see the rate within £425. That's quite a good money. And when you talk about the rest of the world, is it from $350 to $700? Or as at 2020 is about 300 to 500. And it all depends on your level of experience. All these rules and all this pay depends on your level of experience. As a new tester, when I started then, I know I was earning something about 220 a day. So these are the things we need to consider. So if you're earning 220 a day, that's almost 4 grand every month. And tell me a role that is a normal role that will give you 4 grand a month. They'll tell you in a senior management role. So who should take this course? I would say anyone that is interested in getting into technology, into IT. And just like people have said from the onset, oh, they want to get knowledge, change career, get a new job. Yes, you're welcome. Anyone with an eye to spot people's mistake, just like someone was able to spot the mistake there earlier. Yes, you can be a tester if you want to. Business analysts, project managers, scrum masters, product owners, name them. If you want anybody that is into all this field can easily move into software testing. And yes, now it's time for questions and answers. So the floor is open. Your questions are welcome. All right.
Hi. Would you be able to tell us, Wally, would you be able to tell us the program, how the program on how many weeks of training, then in terms of the practical as well, what should the student expect?
Oh, yes, why not? I've mentioned that during the program, actually, during the training now. And actually the program will be starting, the training proper itself will be starting June the 13th. June the 13th. So the program is run for 6 weeks. So we have the first 2 weeks is intensive, Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday, 2 weeks, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the following 4 weeks, it's going to be 3 days in a week, the same time, 7 to 9 p.m. for 4 weeks. So we have the tools which we use, which are the most used tools within the industries today. The Jira, the Sapphire, X-Ray, name those tools, we have them. And you guys will have access to it. And the theory part is the first 2 weeks, like I said. And guys, this is a live project we're working on. We're not giving a demo project that's been run before. We're giving you a project which you actually work on, build your test cases, go through the requirements, do meetings with the people, the project team itself, the product owners, the developers, the business management team. Everybody will be in meeting. You will run it like you're actually running a product and you're actually within a team. You're building an application. And this is what we'll do for the 4 weeks. And when it comes to the theory, it's 2 weeks intensive theory. Guys, I know the previous class they've said, oh, the theory is always boring, but when it gets to the proper practicals, that's when you enjoy it the most. Because that's when all the things that we've been talking for 2 weeks, you now see them, you now use them, you now understand it more, and you now apply it to the practical aspect. So June the 13th, 6 weeks from June the 13th, first 2 weeks is theory, the last 4 weeks is practicals. Have I answered your question, Wally?
Yeah, thank you. My other question is where I'm not able to I've joined a particular training section, maybe because of work or the other things. So what measures is there to ensure that I can catch up?
Yes. So the measures that are there is we do live recording of every class, and this is posted into the student's account via our Gmail. So we normally use the G Drive. So we give students who registered access to the G Drive, and they can always watch it to understand. And if they watch it and they have any questions, they can come into the class or they can contact me directly via the group chat that will be joining when they join the class or when they join the training, and we can take it from there. Yes, recording access is given to students who are registered.
Thank you. My other question is in terms of helping people out.
Yeah.
Is your training hand to hand?
Our training is end to end. So thank you, Wale. That's another important question that I actually wanted to address. So after the first 6 weeks of training, we normally do a CV clinic for our students. We don't write your CV for you. You have to come up with your CV. We'll give you templates. You have to come up with what you best understand and how you best see you can defend your CV, but we will just review it for you. We do a CV clinic, and at the same time, we do interview prep. Some of our students, I believe some of our students are online now, even in this class, about 1 or 2 of them. I don't know if Tammy or Maya is in the class, they can as well testify. They've got jobs now at the moment. They're working with good pay. And another testimony is we have another student about 2 students who will be having interviews this week. So we do CV prep, CV clinic and interview prep. So we'll prep you before your interview. We'll make sure you're confident with the CV you've sent out. And even when they give you the job description, we'll flesh it out for you. We'll divide it, we'll analyze it and explain them to you. And this is something that most interviewers want to see, that when they're interviewing you, asking you about your questions from your CV, you can defend it with experience. And we'll give you the experience based on what you've done within the hands-on practicals. Is that okay, Wale?
Thank you. I think there's a gentleman here raising up their hand. But before you answer his question, can I quickly just ask you one last question? Yes. I know you talked about the career progression, how you can start out from manual testing, you move into automation, and you do all of those nice things. With your training, would you be able to show us how we can connect other parts? Particularly with the buzz now with cloud.
Right.
Would you be able to with your practical kind of point us in that direction, or what is there for us if I thought we wanted to progress in our career?
So yes, if you want to progress from a manual tester to being a cloud automation engineer or cloud automation specialist, we also do trainings in that. And at the same time, as a manual tester, you have the leverage, you have the opportunity to meet with all these people. And when you meet with them, you sit with them in the same meeting, there's no how you will understand what they're doing. And on the path of you sitting with them, communicating, learning from them, we also train you into it, and which is a different arm of our organization. We do automation cloud and cloud training. So yes, we can always assist you to your journey to achieve your goal. Is that?
Thank you. Thank you. I think there are other people that wanted to ask you a question. Maybe they want to mute it. Victor, another one called Anna Amat Asiro. Sorry, I didn't understand it very well. Yeah, there are a few people there that wanted to ask you a question. Victor, you can talk if you want.
Yeah, Michael, good day. I really appreciate this time you have spent on the software testing that's given us.
In Uncle's room.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you, Victor.
Yeah, I want to ask, like now that we're going to start the training
Sorry, you're breaking out, Victor. It's like your background the speaker is giving some.
Is it clearer now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah, I said you said earlier that you were going to start the classes proper
13th.
on the 13th of June.
Yeah.
Is there any monetary aspect that
Yes, there's always a money. Definitely 100%. There's monetary aspect to it.
we need to be sure? What's
Sorry, it's cracking.
hello?
Yes.
Sorry, my network. I don't know what's wrong with it. Hello? Hello?
You can type your question. Your network is fluctuating.
Okay, let me type my question.
Yes, please.
Type your question, and what you could also do, Victor, is if you have your telephone number, just post it. You can private message Miwa, so that you don't have to. Yeah. Then,
Okay, I'll type my number so that I will talk better.
All right. There's a question on the group on the chat that said, "What programming language would you advise a tester learn that is most relevant?" Well, it's your choice of preference, but mostly what people say and what I've known in myself is, if you learn Java or Python, that's more or less like the umbrella of most of the languages. So it's all up to you, but like I said, it's your preference. It doesn't shut you from working as an automation tester in anywhere. Every organization have the programming language they use. So you can't say because you want to work in a banking application or you want to work on a banking application, you only want to learn JavaScript. You can be specialist in one or two. It's all at your preference. That's what I would say.
I can also help that to answer that question as well. So for most of the product most of the product that is built, by the consulting arm of our business, we use Java a lot. We use Node.js, JavaScript basically.
Yeah,
and for some of you, because what would happen is in the practical section, you will get the opportunity to interact with different stakeholders, particularly our developers. Because you see, you cannot test a product that you don't understand. You know what I mean? You can't test it. So they would come, they would show you the architectural solution of the design of the product, some of the product that we're working on at the moment. They will walk you through end to end. You'll get the opportunity to ask them all of those questions around, oh, so what programming language? As a tester, I do not think you need a manual tester. I stand to be corrected here. I don't know. I don't think you need to know how to script. If you can, that's fine. But if you want to learn things like Python, it might just be a different conversation entirely. We can definitely support you in that area because we have developers that does development work for us. But mainly, most of our product, we use Java. We use Java a lot. We're going to use Angular for a product that we're building now, particularly in the front end. But all of our backend, they are Node.js. All right. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you, Wale. Thanks for that.
Jerry, send me your Jerry, send me your telephone number. I think I've already sent mine to you. I know you're chatting with me, but if you send me your telephone number, that would be great.
All right. Victor has just posted a question in the platform. So Wale, address that first.
I
So
think
they're asking for the cost of the training.
all right. Yeah. So
hello, Wale. Fola wants to talk.
Sorry?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please, I want to ask a question.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, please. My question to the coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, what is the difference between cloud computing and cloud automation?
Okay.
That's a good question. They're all under the same umbrella. So when you talk about cloud automation is the main umbrella. So cloud computing is just understanding how you can build your products using a cloud product. So be it Azure or AWS, which is for Amazon. So
okay, Amazon Web Service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
it's like you saying what is the meaning of engineering when you know that engineering has different arms. You get what I
Okay.
mean? You can be
Okay.
you can be a structural engineer or mechanical engineer and all.
Electrical engineer and all
Yeah,
that.
there you go. That's it. So I've got one of our students in here from our previous class that I want to just say hello to everyone.
Yeah, just 1 minute. Is that Mayowa?
Yes,
Okay, Mayowa, just hold on. All right, let me quickly help answer that question as well. Very good question. All right, please listen to me, everybody. I would answer that question in a very simple way. All right. So what is the difference between cloud computing and cloud automation? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So I want you to imagine before you even heard of cloud, all right, we have always used computer, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. If you have any IT person here, you may have heard about, at some point, there was a buzzword called virtualization.
Yes.
Virtualization. And what does virtualization mean? You take a physical computer, like a physical hardware. You now, with the aid of software, you clone it. It's like you make a replica of that physical computer. And when I say physical computer, I mean all the computes within the computer, like your RAM, like your CPU, all of those components that make up the computer, you virtualize it, right? You clone it, okay?
Sorry, can we please mute ourselves if you're not talking?
You have to mute somebody here, the noises.
That's what I'm trying to say for the person who is.
Yeah, can you mute? Okay, all right. So please.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
Have
continue.
you muted the person?
Yes, I have.
Okay, all right, please.
Can I
Okay.
just interrupt very quickly?
Mute everybody, then unmute me. Do it that way.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
just. Okay, all right, that's fine. Anybody that wants to talk, if they raise up their hand, you can unmute them. All right.
Yeah, I've got 2 people already that raised up their hand. Kate.
Okay, so I'll be very, very quick. Okay, so so then we moved. So I'm telling you about the history of computer now. Then we moved into virtualization. But virtualization is ability to take a component of a computer, like the RAM, like the CPU, and other peripherals. All right, you clone them. All right, and you make them like a software. Do you understand? All right, you clone them and you make them so they are no longer like a physical RAM or CPU. All right, they are more like a firmware, a software. Okay, so that was the era that we were in before now. But we moved from that era, then we now came into cloud computing. All right. So everything that you see in the cloud, ask me, please. Everything that you see in the cloud, or everything that they say cloud, in the actual sense is a physical computer. All right. So there are physical computers sitting in a data center that you're not aware of. All right. So you can now see, but you see, in the world that we live in, they couldn't use the word virtualization. Leave it for now. They couldn't use the word virtualization because it is not an acceptable buzzword. Do you understand? So they couldn't use the word virtualization. So they used the word cloud, which is more acceptable, to everybody. So when you say cloud, everybody looks up now, isn't it? When you say cloud, you look up. Well, in the real sense, your computer is not in the cloud. All right, it is in a physical center somewhere, but it is virtualized for your consumption. All right, but where does now cloud computing now come in? I'm telling you the history of computer. Sorry, where does automation now comes in? You see, what automation is they build so many orchestrations. I use the word orchestrations. They build so many orchestrations like layers, all right? Layers of software, layers of control, all right? Can you mute this person called Kate? Mute them.
You want to ask a question. I think she's quite desperate to ask a question. So
Yeah,
Kate,
just hold on a little bit. Let me explain this to this gentleman.
It's a question, but I've already put something in the chat. It's becoming a bit technical for us that started.
Let me just explain it to someone. I get it, but let's answer the person's question.
But I need to go. I just want specifics and just go. So if the person can inbox you privately, which you have said already, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Absolutely no idea. And for me being a starter, I'm lost. I can't follow.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Answer their question.
I get it, but let's answer the person's question as well. You know, I mean, we're all here for a purpose. You see, they won't, I believe they won't be fulfilled if you leave here. We haven't been able to answer their questions. I understand that you have to leave. Just 1 minute would, you know, quickly answer that questions and, you know, we'll go. So with where automation is, even for you guys that wanted to go into testing in automation, all right? So it means that there's so many layers that has been built into cloud computing, you know, that make it easy for us to consume. So for example, if you take your app now, you know, and you're consuming your app or you're doing anything on app, maybe your bank app and all of that, most likely the app is somewhere in the cloud, in the data center. But you see, you're not interacting as it were, you know, with the underlying infrastructure anymore. You know, there are layers that has been built into it, hence we had called it automation. So that, you know, to an end user, to be honest, it doesn't matter to you if your cloud instance is in America or whether it is in Europe, whether the data center is in Africa, it doesn't matter. You know, you press your app, you know, you're just consuming it. You know, that is made possible without automation that you're asking. I hope that answers your question. I don't know if that was from Victor.
Yeah, it was from Victor. Thanks, Wale. Thanks for that.
Okay. Okay. All right. You can go on. I understand somebody is technical, blah blah blah.
All right.
But people have different.
Kate, apologies for that. We just need to quickly answer the person that asked the question. So, what was your question, Kate? If you're still there, if not, okay. Hi, Hama. Do you mind to speak? Unmute yourself.
Well, first of all, I'm a software tester already myself,
Okay.
and my question is going to be a bit towards that end. So I would suggest that since Kate is in a hurry, you can go ahead with her. Don't worry, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Kate.
new to IT. Sorry, everyone. I'm very new and it's getting a bit overwhelming and can drag you away if you're just new and trying to start a career in. So the only questions I wanted to ask is following what was asked earlier. Is there a cost to it?
Yeah.
The June start date, if you can't make that date, is there another start date for the 6-week program?
Sorry, come again with the question. I didn't catch that properly.
So first question is, what's the cost to this program? Second question is, if I can't start at June, is there another time a 6 weeks is going to run?
Yes, 100%. So what it would do, the course is there's always a discount on our course. So there would be, you need to speak to Mr. Wale on that. So I've dropped his number and my number on the group.
Yeah, so I can even quickly answer that question. Okay. So the cost of the training is £650. Anybody that registers today that wanted to take advantage of this, all right, I'm going to be doing a discount for them. Anybody that registers today, if you register today, I'll take out £100 for you and you're going to be paying $550. Anybody that registers today. All right. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Just the second question now. When is the
second question? We'll let. So the next starting date is what we'll communicate to you in person if you are not able to start today or start on June 13th.
Okay. All right. That will be all. Thank you, everyone.
But during the payment, there's a hold on, Kate, before you go. Okay. There's a possibility of we breaking down the payment for you to be flexible. So we can do like 2 instrumental or 3 instrumental, which has to be paid before the end of the training proper, before the 6 weeks training. Yeah.
No, please, how much? I can't hear you. My network is bad here, please. I can't hear the total amount.
All right, the total amount is $650. But if you're registering today, that's a discount of £100. And the payments can be done instrumental. That is 2 or 3 times, but has to be completed before the training finish. Otherwise, access will be restricted. Is that clear?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a payment plan available for people who can pay at once, 100%, 2 or 3 times instrumental payments. So quick one, please. I've got Temilolu. Temilolu, are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everybody.
All right, guys. This was one of our success story candidate. So do you just want to share a little bit of yourself to everyone?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to this platform today. And there's one thing I'm going to assure you of is you're going to have value for your money that you're going to spend. Okay, so just like one of the person that was going to ask the question, I think Amma. So I had experience already in software testing, but I just needed like a refresher's course to refresh myself on software testing. So I think I attended this training just like everybody did, and then I signed up. I went for classes. Classes were very explanatory. It was very practical. And then one thing that I really enjoyed about the course was the fact that if you do not understand something, Mr. Olu always made sure that you understand whatever it is. He would go any mile to make sure that you understand and you are following the class. In fact, he would even call you up. If you miss any, you can't even miss class. But if apparently you even miss a class, Salu can give you like 20 missed calls to make sure that you're fine and then make sure that you cover up, you watch the videos. Yeah, so we had videos that were saved on the cloud that we had access to. And then we had practical classes, we had assignments that we had to do and submit. So we had things like that. And then for the practical part of the class, it was very interactive. It was like a real life scenario. We had access to product managers, we had access to the developers, and it was very interesting. Like we owned our test and we did everything we wanted to do. It was a very, 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 very resourceful class, and I really enjoyed it. But the most beautiful part of it was the aftermath. So after our classes, we had CV review, and then after the CV review, in case you had any interview, you could talk to anybody, and then they will prep you for the interview. I remember I had an interview, and I reached out to Mr. Olu. I told him that I had an interview in a particular place, and then he said, okay, no problem. So we worked on my CV, worked overnight. There were nights I didn't sleep overnight, even when Mr. Olu were preparing for the interview. I was prepped 100%, and to the glory of God, I got the job. And then even the CEO was even amazed. He really liked me, and then he didn't even want to let go because I did excellently well in the interview. I'm not bluffing. I'm actually saying the truth. You can check my profile on LinkedIn. And I'm very grateful. I'm happy I made the move. Where I am right now, I'm enjoying it 100%, and I am growing. So I'm very grateful for this class. I'm very grateful for the exposure. I'm very grateful for the sacrifice, the time, and the love, obviously. So that's my story.
You're making money now, Temiloluwa. You didn't share.
You're
laughing now. You're making money.
Funny enough, she's right
for
there.
A payments gateway now, making all the money.
Yeah. Funny enough, she's right there in Nigeria. Just for some of us in Nigeria, she lives in Nigeria, in Lagos. And we've got another person by name Maiwa. Quickly, Maiwa, are you there? If you're there, please unmute and quickly just give us.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just like Temilolu, we were in the same class, and it was a wonderful experience for me. I studied I studied computer science, but I'd been away for a while, so I wanted to get back into the system, and I decided to, go in through this route. And I found out that it was quite interesting because I had done Java at some point, and I didn't want to go down the route of programming. I wanted something different. I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. The classes were very interesting. And for the theoretical aspect, some people might, when you start the class, you might feel, oh, maybe you don't understand it a bit, but I'm telling you, just stick with it. By the time you get to the practical aspect, everything that everything that you are taught in the theory aspect, you would understand perfectly well. It was a very good experience for me. Whatever you don't understand, he would explain to you over and over again until you understand, giving you real life experiences, real life examples rather. And presently, I'm working as an intern with the organization just to further learn more. And before I move into the world and get what I want. So that's it for me. It's been a wonderful experience. I've really been enjoying myself. I've learned a lot. And I encourage anyone that wants to do it. It doesn't matter whether you've been in IT world and you've been away for a while, or you've not even been in it at all. You're going. It's not money wasted. You'll definitely experience a lot of things. You'll gain a lot of things from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maro. Just also to let you guys know that so Mayawa is one of our, well, Mayawa got trained by Olu. The Mayawa is doing intern with us now. Our company is based there in the UK, but Mayawa is doing intern with us, all the way from Africa. So in fact, she's even got more than she bargained for. So confidently now, she take a lead on our training, the product that we're building at the moment, developing at the moment. She takes a lead on it alongside another lady called Tamila, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, Tamila.
So
Tamila part of the last session training.
Yeah. So we provide internship, but our internship is not automatic. You know what I mean? You will go through the training with Olu with all the practical, but internship will also provide that as well. So this is where the person, they permanently join all of our meetings, they interact with the developers and all of that. So in fact, I want to consider Marijuana as a group. It's software tested, but at least she wasn't the person that joined us few months ago. She has really grown. So we have a whole lot of opportunity. For somebody was asking questions around automation. Our platform, our development happens on a platform called Oracle, which is owned by Salesforce. The plan is we're going to move all of our development effort into AWS. We had the option between AWS and Azure, but we're moving into AWS. But that will now give us that flexibility of a full automated testing. That's where we're going into. So if you're, if that is your plan or you're looking for something along that line, then you're also welcome to join us as well. We have a lot in that area where, our testing now would be automated end to end, particularly now that we're moving into, AWS, where our development is going to be taking place. So we'll have 4 environments in total. We'll have the dev, the staging, the pre-prod, and the prod environment. But most of your testing, like Muiwa, who is the lead here as well, would happen on our staging environment. And for anyone that also wanted to go into cybersecurity as well, there's a whole lot of opportunity for you. For us on our platform, you can learn anything as long as you're willing. If you want to go into cybersecurity, you want to understand how security is embedded into an entire pipeline. Please, if you do not, someone can say it's too technical for them, but you see, if you're coming into an environment like this, we cannot but just talk about some of those things. And if there's anything that's like too technical for you, don't worry. Like Mayawa said here, and Temilolua also said, this gentleman is very easy. He can wake you up in the night and train you and teach you until you get it. All right. So some of the things I'm saying that might be flying over your head. Don't worry. It's easy. Good thing is when you join us, we'll be able to even teach you more. So I think to answer that question about the automation, if that is you, you are in a good place, you can come and join us as well. Kind of look at some of the, I don't know, maybe there are a few questions there. You may quickly want to look it up.
Yeah, let's quickly go to Amma. Amma sign that's been up since. Mr. Amma or Miss Amma.
Okay,
please.
yeah, thank you. Okay, so like I said, I'm already a software tester. So I'm just trying to see if this program will be something that's necessary for me. So one of the things I was wondering was your this program, is it? I know that it's definitely not directed at being an ISTQB certification program per se, but I want to know if most of what you're going to be teaching within that program is going to be within that ISTQB certification.
So first of all, my answer to your question is yes. Our platform is directed towards you being able to pass your ISTQB certifications. all our testing program and training materials are all driven from ISTQB. And also all the topics we'll be going to are all embedded within ISTQB. So our first training candidates, they did a test on ISTQB, which they did very well. And I want to say, and at the same time, I can eat my chest and say, if you go through the training and you sit for ISTQB, except if you're not ready for it, there's no how you won't pass it.
Okay, fine. My second question is with regards to, yeah, I know mostly if you're going to do automation, then obviously you need to have some knowledge of Python or Java, depending on the software that you're going to be using. But even in manual testing, there are cases where you have to basically do some tests with regards to a database, which in many cases would require you to have some knowledge of SQL. Is SQL going to be covered in your syllabus?
So some part of SQL will be covered in our syllabus, which will be the basic knowledge of SQL. So it all depends on your ability to grasp things. If we teach you the foundation of SQL, then there's no how you should not be able to do some database analysis. Although when you talk about database, that's quite large. Yeah. So we need to be very careful on using the word SQL, but I would say the basis of the SQL will be covered, yes.
Yeah, and also to let you know on that one, so I think this individual, if you really want to go, I suspect where is looking to take his career is more along the line of automation. I think this is where Enoch will come into play. For some of the things that he's looking for. So yeah, we don't use we use Postgres, Abby.
Yeah.
We use Postgres for we use Firebase and we use Postgres. We host all of our content on Firebase, but we use Postgres, as our platform. I think we use Postgres across all of our platform as well. So if you're looking for something in that area, you would have to work with our developer, one of our developer, that would help. It will be pretty much around. So Enoch now does a whole lot around the back end, particularly the APIs and all of that, and all of our databases. So maybe that would, I don't know what his name, but maybe that would help you in a way.
It's Amma.
Amma, okay. Yeah.
All right.
Amma, take my number. If you also want to have a private conversation as well, please, by all means. I know some of you might have a lot of burning questions that you may not be able to answer here. My telephone number is 07877145576. I'll post it again. Take it and give me a call. We tailored all of our, let me say, so whilst individuals are different, you're in different places in all of your career, but I can have a private conversation with you to understand your need properly, and I can make recommendations on the back of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And sorry, just my last question. So basically, I know when your students typically have completed the program, and I know you said you have the post program things like helping to look at the CVs and all of that. And I'm sure you do you also give advice with regards to employment opportunities? For instance, one of the things that I'm looking for, because I already have a job in software testing, that I don't think I'm going to be, I'm not looking for another like permanent job, but what I'm looking at is more geared towards freelance. So do you guys also give these sort of advice with regards to freelance roles?
All right, let me answer that question. So, let me quickly answer that question. So
okay, go for it.
So most of the product that our students usually test on, they are product that we have built ourselves for our clients, or some of them are owned by us. All right. So we have a consulting arm of our business. All right. So the lady that spoke earlier on, giving testimonial of what she has done and all of that, she's doing an internship with us. All right. So for some people that fall in that category, where they have just come to this training and they are looking to get their hands dirty further, like I said, our internship is not automatic, all right? If someone has a need in that area, we can support them. However, we also have another layer in our process where we call them actively searching, all right? There's so many places that you can intern, even in the UK here. We know a few, we can point them. Well, when I say, I'm not trying to knock out people from Africa, all right? So maybe in Nigeria, maybe there are a few places. If you're in Nigeria and you want to intern, you can come and, if we like you, you go through the process. We can accept you to do internship with us. But there are few places as well, apart from our own company, where people can actually do intern in the UK. Yeah, even in software testing, QA, quality assurance. Does that answer your question, Amma?
To an extent.
Oh, okay, yeah. So what exactly are you looking for?
Wale, let me answer him.
Okay,
let me address on that. So yes, just like you've asked, will there be opportunity for you to get something that has to do with freelancing? Yes, we'll point you to the job portals that will give you roles that has to do with freelancing. And when you have the job descriptions, then we can sit down with you and do a interview prep. Because most freelancing role, even if they call you to come and do it, they will still interview you for it. Even if it has to do with contracting, they will still interview you for it. No matter how good you are in your permanent role. My first role was a permanent role before I moved into contracting. So no matter how good you are, before you can change from permanent to contracting, because if you want to move into freelancing, they're not going to give you time to learn about the tool or time to even study the application. They want you to come in and get running immediately. So for you to be able to do that, you need a wealth of knowledge of what the tools they'll be using, one, what the project is all about, and at the same time to know how best fit you are for that program. Because if you're not fit for the program, there's no how you come in within 1 week, they'll kick you out. So we'll assist you in giving you the requirement or the gathering or even in preparing you for it. And that's something, because I know when I came, Wale was one of the people that prepped me for cybersecurity, even though I'm not using it. But I got a lot of knowledge there. And I still use it to today if I want to go for interviews and testing. So nobody has the wealth of knowledge, but at the same time, the little we have will always assist you to move into your best career progression. Is that okay, sir?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think there was a question by Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim, I don't know if the question was to me or to...
No, he's trying to connect with me on LinkedIn. I can see his LinkedIn request just popped up. So I would accept your request, no problem.
Okay.
So how much is our cybersecurity training? So Mr. Wale, there's a question that says, how much is our cybersecurity? So
this is from Adekunbi.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on, sir. Before you go, how would you get reference, as I am now into software testing, as most organizations need referencing? So one thing that we do is we can give you reference on the aspect of you've worked on our practical aspect, but not we saying you've worked with us directly. So there's two differences between we giving you reference that you've worked with us for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. But when it comes to we saying, yes, we can attest to you that you've worked on our practical aspect if you attend. So that can cover the reference for that period. If you are working as a software tester now, definitely you get reference from wherever you're working at, even if you're working through an agent or you're working directly with the company. But when you come on our program, for the period that you've done something with us, we will definitely reference you for that period. Is that okay for that question? So cybersecurity, sir, that's for you, Mr. Wale. Because
all right.
And so also, before we go, we have various arms within our learning platform. There's cybersecurity, there's automation cloud that we train on as well. If I'm right, Wale?
Yes. Yes. You're right.
So someone asked how much is cybersecurity training?
Yeah, so for Adekunbi Lawore.
Yeah.
So Adekunbi, our cybersecurity training is £850. That one is a 3 months program. All right. We will train you on 8 module courses. depending on where you are, which area that you wanted to align to. So our cybersecurity courses is divided into, two categories. We have one category that we call technical, then we have another category that we call non-technical. So depending on which one you prefer. All right. So all of a typical technical cybersecurity courses will be vulnerability management, penetration testing, SIEM essential. You would have likes of cybersecurity threat hunting, cybersecurity threat modeling, application security, enterprise architect. So you would have all of that. Those are examples of courses that falls under the technical aspect of cybersecurity courses that we offer. And you will get 8 courses for £850, all right, across 3 months, okay, including practice.
Mr. Arods, there's a question. You want to ask us your questions? The answers have been raised for a while.
Let me quickly just finish Adekunbi's question. So Adekunbi, so the other one is the non-technical aspect of cybersecurity. So again, you will get 8 courses on that one, and there will be courses like, third-party risk management. There will be courses like, cyber ISO 27001 essential. There will be courses like, information regulation. Generally, we'll be teaching you GDPR on that one. You would have courses like SOC 2. Some of you know SOC. You'd have courses like cybersecurity risk management. You would have courses like, IT auditor. So again, you could have up to 8 different course modules on that one, to be trained on. Okay. So if you're interested,
we've got just 5 more minutes.
Okay, so Adekunbi, my interest is in penetration testing and vulnerability management. All right, Adekunbi, do you want to give me a call? I'm happy to provide more information. All right, I'm sending my telephone number here, 078 7714 5576. Adekunbi, I've just sent you my telephone number.
Mr. Arods, please, can you let us know what your question is? Mr. Arods Okoro, are you there? Arods Okoro. All right, can you please let us know what your question is, sir? Okay, I need to unmute you. Yes, sorry. I've asked you to unmute yourself.
Okay, because I tried to unmute myself and I couldn't.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, my question basically is, with regards to some of us older fogies on here who have very minimal computer skills. Yeah. I mean, I've been out, I left university 31 years ago. I'm 50 years old now. Yeah. And in my job role currently, I use computers very, very minimally. Now, a lot of the conversations that have been had here have been above my head. So is there anything that I would need to go and study first before I come in here? Because I don't want to pay for a course, get into a course and find out that I am very, very ill prepared for it.
All right, so you're not left out. Our last training, we had someone who's a cab driver for his life and is currently doing software testing. His name is Desmond. I believe some of our students, we know him before. So he used to be a cab driver here in London. So Don is, I think he's about 61 or thereabout. So doing software testing is not my age.
Desmond is his own senior brother, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Desmond is your senior brother.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say you should underestimate yourself. One thing you should just learn how to do is, if you can learn how to communicate, use the right words, and when you have your system with you, you can do the little things that we teach you in class. See, from there you will grow. That's what I tell people. And if you see Desmond now, honestly, sometimes when he calls me and he's talking to me on the phone, I'm like, did you actually just learn this thing the way you're talking? And that is it. To be honest, you can belittle yourself. So when he gets to the time, you'll cross the path. That's what I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you. Cheers.
Right. You're welcome, sir.
I think Timothy mentioned something earlier on. So the discount is extended till Monday. For some of you that want to go think about it, and never buy anything under duress. It's important. So you have us up until Monday this week, to take advantage of that discount. If you have any question whatsoever, like the question that Harold asked now, valid question, you know, oh, will I be able to get some material to go over it? Like Muiwa, Harold, give him the video.
Yeah, everybody will be having the video for today.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it will be sent out to you, hopefully before Monday.
Yeah.
And during the training proper, be it theory or practicals, you'll have access to the videos as well.
Yeah. So, so you have up until Monday, you know, to take advantage of it. Our telephone number is there. If you want to post it again, any question whatsoever, reach out. We're more than happy to, you know, answer you before, you know, you take that decision.
Wale, I would send someone's number to you. Its name is Oladimeji Aberowo. He says he's currently a cybersecurity PhD student in Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
I think you'll be the best person to speak to him regarding that. But if you want to do anything that has to be software testing, I'm here. But when it comes to cybersecurity, I'll direct you to Wale. That's his baby. Software testing is my baby. That's Wale's baby, cybersecurity. So automation and software testing course, Abdul Karim, I've sent you my number. Let's chat on that. So we've got just one more minute, please, guys. If you have any other question, for the last time, please, Timothy, can you post the link again? Wale, can you please post your number again? And I'll post my one again so that everybody will see it one more time before we call it a day. So my
hello.
Yes.
So look on, please, I want to ask Wale, do you extend to cyber deception?
I don't understand that question.
Cyber deception.
Cyber deception.
Okay.
Cyber deception, where you can teach about the honeypots.
Okay. I get. Who is answering this question?
That's Blessing.
Blessing. Okay. Yeah. So you see, Blessing. There's something we call security monitoring. Okay, and there are toolings that you use for security monitoring. So honeypots that you just mentioned now is the techniques that we use in cybersecurity to catch bad people. You know, you see, in Africa, you know, you set up you set trap for rats now, Abi. You can put some of you, if you know where I come from, you know, I come from the bush. You set your trap, you know, and you anticipate that the rat will come and eat whatever, you know, that you put there. All right. So it's honeypot as well. So what some company does, not all organizations do it. Some big organizations that are into massive security monitoring, they set trap for cyber criminals, which we call honeypot. All right. And the reason why they do that, you know, is because you wanted to be able to learn about the behavioral of cyber criminals. All right. So when they come there, you know, they would be able to leave like footprints, which organization will go and collect it as a log. All right. But on the back of that, they will use those information to now start to build their controls. All right. So it's like, you know, you have a CCTV camera somewhere, and that CCTV camera can capture activities, what's going on, you know, and you can see footage, you know, how people are committing crime. That's exactly what your honeypot is. So to answer your question, yes, part of our cybersecurity training will cover, you know, what we call security monitoring, you know, but honeypot is just a techniques, which is part of security monitoring. I hope that answers your question, Blessing. Blessing, I hope that answers your question.
You know what I'm really, I want to say, hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we
so
can.
What I'm really asking of is cyber deception proper. You know, cyber deception is an improved version of the honeypot, whereby you do the automated cyber deception, automated.
Sorry, we lost you there.
Honeypot scenario.
Okay.
Hello?
All right. So
what's best for you? Just call me.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to say.
Hello?
Blessing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're struggling because you're breaking in and out. Can you call me? Can I give you my telephone number?
The network. So what I want to, hello?
Blessing,
Yes.
what I would suggest is we'll drop Wale's number. You can reach out to him.
But I can hear you.
Okay, go on then. Quickly go on.
Okay, what I'm talking about is my own area. In as much as I want to understand other things in security aspects of the cyber security, but my major research area is cyber intention. That's the intention of the attacker.
Yeah. So let me you see.
So I don't want to. You know, you're talking about the companies, the attacker leaving a footprint. No, trying to know what happens in that's a dynamic approach.
Well, I cannot answer your question here. That's what I'm saying. That's my telephone number. Take it away. You're talking about a project that you're working on, whether you're a PhD student or you're MSc. If you need help, I can guide you. All right. So that's my telephone number. I cannot, as it were, answer all of your question here, but I need to, put into context what you're saying. What you're saying, basically, you're looking at it from the research that you're doing. I can help you in that area, but most importantly, I'm going to be talking from practical viewpoint as opposed to, what the book says.
All right, thank you, Wale. So for the last time,
my telephone number there. Can you confirm that?
Hello, what are you starting the course for the cyber security?
No. Blessing, you just call me. Let me talk to you. I want to understand what you're looking for so that I can make recommendations.
No, what I mean, the cyber security course, would they? I mean the date.
All right, you need to speak to Wale. This is a software testing path. So when you want to do anything that has to do with cyber security, we've dropped his number on the chat there. Please pick it up and direct your question to him. He's going to communicate the date, the time, the amount, and whatever you require for cybersecurity to you. Blessing, is that clear?
Let me pick the number. Then.
Yes, the number is on the platform, 078. And if you're dialing from outside the UK, you can plus the plot 44 7877 145576 plus 4478 771 45576. And my number is plus 44 79 6151 5201. So I'm interested in both automation and manual testing costs as I have my first degree in computer science.
Can Modupe ask Modupe if she has registered? Let her Timothy post the link, let her register then.
So the link is there, register please, and you can easily pick up my number and chat with me. I'll be available to chat, to speak to anybody who is interested. And we want to say thank you very, very much to everyone that's coming today. Really appreciate your presence. It's because of you guys we're here, and we want to give you the best. So we'll look forward to seeing you people.
Okay.
Come.
Hello.
Hi, Blessing.
Okay, sorry. You're talking about discount. So
is that for software testing or for cybersecurity you're talking about?
For both.
All right. So I've sent you Wale's number. You have Wale's number. When you speak to him, it's going to give you more information on that.
For software testing, the discount is, is $650, but we're giving a discount of £100.
So it's today to Monday. So you have to register before Monday too.
Before Monday.
Yeah, to be able to have the discounts.
Can Timothy post the link there again, please, or anybody? Just for the last time.
Yeah. Thank you very much again. Lale, do you want to just please help us appreciate everyone?
All right, guys, I just want to say thank you for your time today. It's been lovely, always good, to have everyone, come and learn and ask questions. We take pride in what we do. What makes us different is because for us, we want to see that, people progress in their career, and especially people of color. And I don't have, I won't be apologetic about it, especially people of color, to see us progress in all of our career. And in the last few years for us in smart learning, we literally, we have seen people that have come from nowhere, they become somebody today. I remember one gentleman used to be a bus driver here in the UK. He works with CGI. Is one of their senior manager now. They were first set of people that I trained about 7 years ago. They've so much progress in their career. And to say the least, I have massive community of people that have passed through our training. So it's not just about us. It's about you and about a lot of people that we have trained. By the time you get your first job, when you come, you become part of our community as well, where you can also give back to other people. So we're really looking forward, to welcoming all of you, to come and join our software training. Software training, Olu is a fantastic trainer. And by God's grace, we're even moving from automation, from manual into automation. We're moving into cloud. So there's so much that we'd like to show you. And for as many of you that are really, really keen and want to get on this, just register for it. Let's, enroll you, and we can all start and on the 13th. Someone was asking questions earlier on, will I get a job? The job is massive. There's just so much job. If Temiloluwa that is in Nigeria can get a job, how about you that you're in the UK? So as long as you have the skills, by God's grace, we are here to support you. Trust me, the least is, you would get a job. The least is you will get a job. So we want to welcome you formally, on the 13th. But before that time, if you have any question whatsoever, reach out to myself or Olu. We've got our friend as well, Mayowa in Nigeria. You can ping them. We've got, we also have Timothy, who has been the person sending you emails. Do the same as well. Mayowa, please, what's your LinkedIn profile? Yeah, somebody's asking you about your LinkedIn profile. I think Ikechuku. Muiwa, put your LinkedIn profile there, please.
I've just put the name. They can search up me.
Yeah, search up the name, search up my name, search up Temiloluwa's name. There are people that pass around, search up Timothy's name, search up. I don't know if Mayowa have updated a LinkedIn profile, so we've been around in the last 8 years. For us, we just want to help people. And if you're looking for help where people can do a whole lot of hand holding for you, that can support you up until you get a job, then you've come into the right place. All right. So thank you, and over to you, Mewa.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Once again, really appreciate your presence. Someone has asked us to put your number down again, Wale.
I'm doing it now.
Right, kindly put your number. That's the registration number again, or the registration link. It's good to have you today. We look forward to seeing possibly all of you again on the 13th. And yes, let's make this journey worthwhile, and let's change ourselves for the best.
All right.
Thank you.
So I just put my number again there for Blessing. I think Blessing, you might have quite a number of stuff, a question around what you're doing. Just send me. I'm happy to talk to you. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, and have a good day. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.